Here we are, a little preview of the Lusanne ITU Worlds course. So you've got quite a long run up from the lake here out of the swim, and you'll come through this area here and exit out of T1 and then head on to this main street here. Now, when you get onto this main street and on your bike, you've got 500 meters of a pretty flat little section here. So as you come out of transition, you'll hit this road, flat little section, and then you got 500 meters, and then it pitches up pretty quickly. And then once you're on that pitch up, it descends down, again, just as quickly. And then you go through a little rolling section until you get to about 1 kilometer in. Then you descend down here to a sharp decline, to a really sharp incline right here, and that goes up to about 22%. So just be wary of that, and that's about 1 kilometer into the ride. Then it stays pretty flat for the next kilometer, and it even starts descending down. So this will be a pretty flat, quick, fast section through this part. Then as you continue through at about 2.4 kilometers in, you got a super fast descent here. Really starts to pitch down towards the lake, and this is all downhill, but what goes down must come back up. So you'll take a right hand turn towards the lake, do a little roundabout, and then you're going to come back up that same section. So again, at about 3.3 km, you've got a really sharp incline there, so be ready for that. It's only about 100 meters long, but it's quick and fast. And then you're going to hit a pretty flat section for the next kilometer or so. And this, you can get into a pretty nice steady rhythm here. It rolls a little bit, but for the most part, you know, it stays more towards the flatter end of things. Then once we get about 5K in, you're going to take a left hand turn, and you're going to dive down into a fast descent again towards the lake, and here it is. And this will be quick and fast through here. Then at the bottom of this descent, you got another left hand turn, so be aware of that. And then you got a quick right after that. So it's pretty quick little jib and jab there. And then at 6.6K, you're going to start to have a longer climbing section for about 2K. So you want to keep that there, and then you're going to descend back down towards the lake, and then this section starts to pitch back up pretty sharply again. And then once you get up into this section here, it's all uphill. Bit of a slow, long grind, about 1 kilometer there. And again, from about 6.6 to about 8.6, it's all uphill. It's, you know, you have different pitches from about 4 to 10%. Then once you get to about 8K in, you know, basically it starts to flatten out for the next 2 kilometers, actually 3 kilometers. It's pretty flat and fast, even descends. You do a 180 roundabout there at about 8.5K in, and then you just keep sailing. Again, all flat and fast through here, nice and quick. And you just keep rolling along. Great time to get into some rhythm, pick up some speed. Not much technically here that you have to worry about. Little jib through that roundabout, so be aware of that. And then once we get through this flat section, again, even descends a little bit, so super fast through here, which is nice. Get you rolling along. Just keeping tempo, good time to hydrate, stay on top of your nutrition. And then once we hit this section here, as we get up to about 11K, you're going to have a 600 meter section that rolls, and you can see it coming up. And your pitches go up to about 10% in some sections, so just be aware of that. So use that downhill to carry that speed through the first roller. Work your way over the top, and then you'll come back down. And essentially through this section until about 15K, it stays pretty much rolling all the way through. And again, this is all about rhythm, not a whole lot technically that you have to worry about as far as turning or anything like that. It keeps pretty straightforward. Got a few little roundabouts that you got to navigate, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Then once you get closer to about 15K through this long flat rolling section here, it's going to start pitching up shortly for about 500 meters. And I'm just going to speed this up a touch here. So you do a little roundabout there at about 14K. Ooh, slow down. There we go. Gotta catch up here. And then again, once we get closer to 15K, we pitch up a little bit. So if you notice, at about 11, basically from about 11.8K to this point here, about 16K, it's all flat and fast. So there's not a whole lot you have to worry about. Great time to get into some rhythm. Now at 15.5, we pitch up here. Got a quick little climb. It's about 500 meters. Nothing too steep, but enough that you notice it. And then you always descend back down. Then from 16 to 19K, it's pretty flat and fast, even descending a little bit through this section. So really the back half of each loop that you're doing is pretty flat and fast. There's only a few little bumps that you have to navigate. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward, fast little course. And then once you take this right-hand turn, heading back into town, again, it's all rolling through here, pretty flat and fast. Nothing you have to roll about. Small little rollers, nothing major though. Okay. Well, then you take this left-hand turn, and then another right, and then once we get closer to 19K, you're going to have a short, steep little climb. It's coming up here. You'll descend down a little bit. Once you have that little descent, you know it's coming. Then we have this little part here where you start descending back up right here, and it pitches up a decent amount, up to about 10%. And then you make that right-hand turn and you're heading back home, and it's all flat and fast here, even slightly downhill. So you'll be keeping good speed to finish off the loop. So first half of this bike course, a little more rolling, a little steeper climbs, a little more punchy. The second half, flat and fast. You got a few little rollers to contend with, but otherwise it's a pretty straightforward run. So you'll do that course twice for your standard distance at Lusanne. Have a great race.